Hey, welcome. I want to talk today about trying to get a watch, or specifically a watch that's under $500 as a gift. And hopefully that watch doesn't look like it costs less than $500. Nobody wants a cheap looking watch. Watch enthusiasts like certain watches, but the watches I'm going to tell you about today are watches I did on my own research to figure out what was really sharp, what really looked good. And with that, I came up with this list. I have about six on here. The prices range from like $160 to about $500 exactly. So get ready, get your pen and paper out. Maybe not, just copy and paste. I'm going to have some links in there and everything. So if you wouldn't mind, before we get into it, if you wouldn't mind giving me a like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Trying to move this channel up, actually trying to even actually get it out there would be awesome. So today we're going to talk about six watches. The first watch is a no-brainer. I love this thing. It looks classy. By the way, all these six watches will look amazing on anybody's wrist. They'll look great. People will love to get these as a gift. So if you have the budget, this is going to work for everybody within that budget. So let me get back to the first one. I get distracted easily. The first watch is the Orient Bambino, and it's version 2. This is a white face with the blue hands. This is a very sexy watch. It's amazing looking. It looks classy on. It looks classy when you take it off. It just looks classy. The watch itself is about 40 millimeters in width. It's about 11.8 millimeters in thickness. The number on this, I got to look at this for this one, is FAC 0009 and 0. That's a little long, but that's where we are. It has a sapphire crystal. Like I said, it's automatic. And this baby is, for bang for the buck, this thing you can get for $160. It is a no-brainer. Anybody who loves watches would want this. So that's my first choice. And again, these aren't in any particular order. I'm just giving you the watches. There's not number 1 through 6, which one's the best. This is just, here's 6 choices. You can't go wrong with any of them. All right, let's get on to number 2 before I keep rambling. The second one is the Bulova Aerojet chronograph. This is the number on this. The identifier number on this is 968374. Has a date. It's about $250 to $300. It's automatic. It has mineral crystal, and it's about, like I said, 41 millimeters in thickness, in width, and about 12.2 millimeters in thickness. This wears very nicely. And the color, this blue dial face with the orange accents, it jumps off your wrist. And it looks every bit of a very expensive watch. You put this on anybody's watch or anybody's wrist, and it automatically elevates them. So it's very, very nice watch. The third one, number 3, is the Tissot Carson Premier chronograph. And before we get into this real quick, this is a quartz movement. So not everybody loves quartz movements, especially some of the watch enthusiasts out there. Don't get me wrong, they would love to get this watch. I'm just saying some folks they only want automatics. They only want mechanical movements. But let's get that out of the way. Oh, and the next thing is their number, their reference number for this is T122417160330. I think I got all that. Phew. It's 41 millimeters in width. It's 10 millimeters in thickness, has a date, sapphire crystal. Obviously it's chronograph. Again, it comes on a steel bracelet, comes on a leather band. Either way you want to pick this up, this is about $400 retail. I think there's a couple sites that have it for slightly less, but this is a fantastic watch. And again, I'll have all the links to either the manufacturer's websites for these, the watch manufacturer's websites for these, or specifically maybe a retail link in there to pick it up. So take a look below. The next watch on the list is the Citizens, I'm going to butcher this name, Soyoso Small Seconds. This thing, I mean, just punches up for sure. It's an automatic watch. The blue dial it just screams sexy to me. This thing comes off your wrist. I had this watch for a period of time, gave it to my son, and he said, I'm at college and it looks like it's worth way more. And that's the first thing girls notice about me. I'm trying to get a watch to notice or girls to notice my son by wearing a watch. He just anecdotally shared this story with me. I'm like, it's not the watch, it's your smile. Anyway, this number, the identifying number on this one is NK50151L. Like I had mentioned, it's automatic. It's 40 millimeters. And the really cool thing about this is it has probably, of all the watches I'm going to talk about today, it has the longest power reserve. So what that means is you can wear this for 2 days, take it off your wrist for a couple days. It has a 60-hour power reserve. So this allows you to keep it in your rotation and not have to pick it up and wind it all the time and shake it up and do whatever with it. It's a very nice watch. Again, this thing looks very elegant. You could dress it up with a suit. You can wear it casually. It fits a lot of scenarios. The next watch, this one comes in $500-ish, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. But, we covered in the past, before I get into this one, we covered in the past, some dress watches, some field watches, a chronograph. What I wanted to touch on now, the last couple of watches I wanted to touch on were a diver and a GMT. So this one's the diver. And this one's from a brand not too many people know about. I found it by accident, fell in love with it. Very minimalistic. This is the Unimatic Classic U1. The identifying number on this one is UWK UCI. This is 41 millimeters across and 13.6 millimeters in thickness. Sapphire crystal, super luminova. This thing lights up a bedroom. I say that because every time I go to sleep and I've worn it for the day, I see this light out of the corner of off the corner of my bureau. It's 300 meters waterproof, and it comes with a NATO band. This is shown in black. They have a few other colors, but this is a very minimalistic, super, super sharp. I'm getting tongue tied here. Phew, too much coffee. The bezel actually rotates. As you can, obviously see there is a bezel. It's dignified with a dot, a period, whatever you want to call it, at the top of the dial. I am actually now stammering, so bear with me. I can't say enough about this watch. I've worn it. It comes if you bought it, I'm going to show you. It comes with this cool case. Inside this particular one that I got has a additional band, but it's really cool. So if you're getting this as a gift, someone would love it. It's super sharp, right? It has a little carry case. If you want to travel with it, you can put 2 watches in there if you really wanted to, if you want to travel with it. But I prefer some of the other options to travel, but this is really cool to have. And people were like, oh my gosh, this thing must cost a fortune. Who don't know until they look it up on Google and then they find out what you paid for it. So those secrets are out. But the cool thing about all these watches, and I'll get to this last watch in just a second, is they don't look like $160 to $500 watches. They're really good looking watches, and the value that they bring and the joy that they put on watch enthusiasts' face, it lights up the room. People love these. People love these watches. I love these watches. I own most of these watches. And again, they just all wear very nicely and they would make an incredible gift. All right. The last one is the Seiko 5 Sport GMT SSK 003K1. Phew. This has the Hardlex mineral lens, so it doesn't have the sapphire. It's automatic. Obviously, it has date. It's 42 millimeters and width, about 13.6 millimeters in thickness. I particularly like this one because it comes on a Jubilee bracelet. And this thing screams, holy cow, Seiko got it right. Bar none for the price. This watch is probably somewhere between $300 and $500, depending on where you shop for it. It is bar none the sexiest, cleanest looking watch Seiko makes as a GMT in this price range. They make a lot of great watches, besides the Grand Seikos and some of the cocktails. This watch for this price point, I don't think you could do much better if somebody wants a GMT at this price point. Again, these are just my top 6 picks. There's plenty more I could have actually brought up here, but I think this touches them all, right? You have GMT, you have a diver, you have a couple field watches, you have a chronograph, and the watches you can wear, dress watches, if you will, on every occasion. And most of these watches, and I venture to say all of them except for this Unimatic, really can be dressed up or dressed down. And again, anyone would like to get them as a gift. So again, here's my Christmas holiday gift list for $500 or less. You can't go wrong with any one of them. Please, if you wouldn't mind giving me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel up and running. I know there's a lot of competition. I'm not looking to compete, just looking to have some fun, share my thoughts, share my views as a watch enthusiast with everybody out there. And anyway, I appreciate you taking the time to watch.